Win a Pageant, episode 51. I created this step-by-step process after training thousands of women across the U.S. to win. Now you can have access to these winning strategies when you join me every Wednesday. Let's win a pageant. Hey girl, welcome to another episode of Win a Pageant. I'm your coach, Alycia Darby. Now last week we discussed how to resell your used pageant wardrobe, and in today's episode, I'm going to give you a breakdown of where to sell your wardrobe because I want you to be wise about the different sites, what to look for, what to expect as a seller, because it really does make a huge difference. The main things that you got to consider are what is the fee to list your item and to sell it. We want to think about the size of the audience. So how many people are really going to be looking at this gown? How many people are searching on this site or on this Facebook group for wardrobe? You also want to use a site that has some type of insurance or a guarantee that protects the buyer and the seller. Number 4 is you got to have ease of use. Oh, I've used eBay before and it was so confusing. I actually shipped out 2 cell phones that I was selling to 2 different buyers who hadn't even confirmed their purchase yet. I hadn't gotten any money and I already shipped the thing. It's because I just didn't know the process. So you've got to understand what you're really doing. And then the final piece is you've got to be ready to ship. So we are going to talk about all 5 of these. We are going to unpack each of these so that you've really got an idea of how you can sell and what to really look for on the other side. You can translate this as a buyer. If you're looking to buy some used wardrobe, think about these as well. In general, sites that provide an opportunity for reselling or purchasing used wardrobe make their money from the seller because they're providing you the forum to sell and the marketing and all of that. So there's 2 ways that it can either come. It's either on the front end or it's on the back end. The front end means that they charge you a flat rate or a listing fee. The listing fee is just so that you can put all your pictures and your description up and then they market it for you. The alternative is on the back end. Now, I have seen sometimes on the back end that they'll charge a flat rate once the product is sold, but it's more common that you would give a percentage of the money that you make on the actual sale. So let's say, for example, that you are selling a cocktail dress for $100. If the percentage is, let's say, 6%, which I don't know, they can be all over the place. Some of them are 10% or whatever. But let's just say it's 6%. 6% of a $100 cocktail dress after the sale is $6. That's what you would be paying the website to allow them to list it and that kind of thing. Now, if you're selling a $1,000 gown, the 6% rate would be $60. So you've got to do your math when you're thinking about, okay, where am I going to sell this at? Because if you go with a website that has a listing fee of a flat $6, maybe it's a monthly fee or maybe it is per wardrobe that you're posting and you're selling a $1,000 gown, then that could be a really darn good deal. So you want to think about, just got to do your math. You want to think about like, where am I going to be selling this? How much am I going to be selling it for? And then what is my actual buyout to get this person to facilitate the purchase? And that's what you're paying for through the marketing and the sales process and accepting payment and all of that. You don't have to worry about all that stuff because it's built into the reselling site. Of course, that's the value that they bring. If you have a low risk tolerance or you just don't know if something is going to sell, then of course the safer route is to only pay when you get paid. So once you make the sale, then you would give the flat rate or you would give the fee, the percentage fee or whatever, that type of thing. Of course, that's a safe route, but it doesn't always mean that those sites get the most amount of traffic. So you want to think about how many people are really going to be viewing this. If no one ever visits this website and I post it up, well, then of course I'm never going to sell it because no one's going to be really looking there for a wardrobe. So for that, you've got to consider the size of the audience. If there are a ton of people on this Facebook group and they're getting lots of activity and you see sold, the word sold next to many different dresses and wardrobe and things like that, this could be a good sign that it's actually working. So that's really what you want to consider. How long has this company been around for and how many people have sold on this site, those types of things. Another important aspect is a seller and or buyer guarantee or insurance. Now, eBay actually has this. So if there is some problem with the product, it's not delivered on time or it's not delivered per the cost, or if the seller payment bounces or something crazy like this happens, There are things in place to protect both parties. Same with Amazon. These big companies, they've got that. And a lot of the pageant resale sites that I'll share with you in our show notes will also have this in place. So it's a lot better than shipping someone a piece and waiting for eternity for them to never send you a check, or something like that. Or you buy a dress when the buyer tells you that they have it, and then in a week it never arrives. Okay, so this has probably happened to many of you out there. I know that it's happened to me. And it's really important to get this guarantee from the seller and the buyer through the website. The back end of any web transaction can be extremely complex, but they are designed to be secure and to be very smooth. So if it's not, you don't want to use that. For me, eBay was super confusing. I was selling 2 cell phones on eBay, and someone bought them or bidded on them. I thought that they bought them. And so I shipped the cell phones. I shipped them both out. I was trying to be prompt and all that. And then as soon as they were in the mail, I was getting emails like, oh, I've got a couple questions before I confirm this. Does it have this? Does it have this? And I was like, wait a minute. That just shipped out today. So I was all confused. It's not eBay's fault. It's my fault. I just didn't know what I was doing. I jumped in way too soon. That's what you want to be aware of. You've got to be really comfortable with the site. You have to understand the process. Don't just jump in and think that you know what you're doing. Now, the final thing to be aware of is that your timing is absolutely crucial. You do not want to post something on a site if you aren't able to ship it when someone buys it. So like if you're going to be going out of town for 2 weeks, or if you've got the flu, or if it's tech week at your dance school, it's going to be tough for you to be watching your email, responding to questions and purchases. You've got to be ready for somebody to buy it. It's got to be cleaned, packaged, ready to roll, okay? Get your box if you have to. I know for me, finding a box for a giant item can be really tough, so I get all that stuff handled before I even post it so that as soon as someone's ready to buy it, I'm ready to sell it. Now, as I mentioned on the show notes of our website, I'm going to include a list of 10 websites and several Facebook groups for you to consider when you're buying or selling used wardrobe. Now, there are consignment shops, there are eBay types, there are even wardrobe rental options there. Now, I have not used these myself, so I'm just being honest. I cannot speak from personal experience on any of these, but I do know that it has worked for lots of my pageant sisters. Just be sure to do your own due diligence to vet these to make sure that they're really right for you and for the sale that you plan on making. It is definitely a fun experience to see somebody in the same gorgeous gown or the awesome shoes that you once wore. So it makes you just want to cheer for them extra loud. And it makes this experience so much more exciting. So to get that full list, go to winapageant.com/51. And that, ladies, is how you win a pageant. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next week for Win a Pageant Wednesday. Hey there, I'm Alycia Darby, and I just want to say thank you so much for watching that last video. If you totally loved it and got something from it, would you just click subscribe right here to subscribe to our YouTube channel? Hey, I am here for you, and I've got so many more trainings and videos for you. In fact, this one would be a really great one to watch next. Or if that topic doesn't interest you, then try this one. It's my most recent video training. So I think both of these would be really great for you. Thank you again so much for subscribing. I am honored to be your coach. I'll see you again soon.